Okay. Out of breath already. We're starting off strong here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a controversial video, a little bit of a negative video. I am going to be talking about why I decided to opt out of the traditional glucose test, which is the test that they do for gestational diabetes. Now, if you do not know what gestational diabetes is or what the glucose test is, I'm not going to get too much into it in this video. Basically, the glucose test is the test that they give you during second to third trimester of your pregnancy that determines whether or not you have gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is diabetes that you get during your pregnancy. So, traditionally, they have you come in for your appointment, you are fasting, and they give you a little bottle of a glucose drink that's got tons of sugar, tons of other ingredients in it, and I don't know why I'm trying to be unbiased here because obviously, clearly I chose not to do it. I'm not a fan of this version of the test, so I'm just gonna say it's got a bunch of chemicals and crap in this drink. They have you drink it. I think they give you like 10 minutes to drink it, and then you sit for 30 minutes maybe, and then they draw your blood, something like that. I am not too educated on it because I knew right from the beginning that I did not want to do that. So these are some of the reasons why I decided that I didn't want to do that test. I'm also going to be talking about some of the alternatives and what I actually did instead of that test. I wanted to make a quick disclaimer here though. This video is not to be talking any of you out of doing the test or not to be bashing the test. I'm not trying to shove my personal opinion down your throat or anything like that. I'm just talking about my experience and why I chose to do the alternate test. I'm not trying to change your mind on anything. If you want to go in and do the glucose test, that's totally fine, totally up to you. 100%. I definitely recommend doing your own research and finding out why it is important to be tested for gestational diabetes, and I definitely recommend you ultimately making your own decision on what you're comfortable with for your body. This is just my experience, some of the research I found, and some of the reasons why I chose not to do the test. So let's get into it. First and foremost, a lot of people told me that the drink that they give you makes you super, super sick. A lot of people say that it makes you super, super nauseous because you are fasting, and then you put a bunch of sugar in your body and it makes you sick for pretty much the rest of the day. I have had a pretty smooth pregnancy so far, knock on wood. I haven't really had very bad morning sickness. I haven't thrown up at all, and I am in my third trimester now, so again, knock on wood, but I've been pretty lucky. I did not want to throw up for the first time after doing this test. So that was pretty much the big main reason why I didn't want to do it. I heard that the drink tastes nasty. I heard that the drink is really, really, really gross and makes you really sick. So that was the main driving force behind why I didn't want to do the glucose. Some of the ingredients in the drink are a little bit dodgy. Again, I'm not trying to like sway anybody here. I'm just saying from my research what I found. Some of the ingredients are a little bit scary. There's some talk that some of them are actually outlawed in certain countries. I'm not again, I'm just saying, just putting it out there. If you want to do more research on that, feel free to do so. I'm just saying I didn't personally know exactly what was in the drink, therefore I didn't really want to do it. Something that was a really good point that was brought up to me is, when are you ever going to load up your body on sugar like that? Ever, either during the rest of your pregnancy or during your entire life in general? When are you ever going to have that much sugar and only sugar in your body all at once like that? Never. That's never a situation that's going to happen in normal, regular, everyday life. So of course, like, the test is going to show something different than what your normal everyday life would, because you're doing this random situation that's not likely to ever happen again. So that was something that I was kind of like, yeah, that's a really good point. I'm never going to have that much sugar all at once like that ever again, so why do it? It just seemed kind of weird to me. Also, somebody said in a forum, why would you ever ask a pregnant woman to fast and not drink water? And that's just super unnatural and unhealthy. I get that it's only for a couple of hours when you wake up in the morning until you get to the doctor's office and do the test, but still, that was also something that kind of stuck with me, that I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm pregnant and I'm supposed to be giving nutrients to this child. Why would I want to be purposely depriving myself of eating and drinking, especially drinking water, because you're supposed to have like 6 or 7 bottles of water a day when you're pregnant, so why would you want to neglect doing that, even if it is just for a short period of time? So I have my computer off to the side. This is where I'm going to kind of start reading off some points here. The biggest thing for me was that there is a lot of misdiagnosis with this test. If you don't pass the 1-hour test, you have to go back and do the 3-hour test. And a lot of people would fail the 1-hour test and then go and do the 3-hour test and pass with flying colors. A lot of people are diagnosed with gestational diabetes, but they don't have any symptoms. My mom was actually one of those people. She was diagnosed with it, and every single time she checked her levels, she was completely normal for the whole rest of her pregnancy. And my brother was born a completely normal size. He wasn't a big baby or anything like that. So a lot of people are diagnosed with it but don't have it. And then there's also a lot of people who are cleared on the test, and then they find out later in their pregnancy that they actually do have gestational diabetes, and that happened to my cousin with her second baby. They told her that she was fine, she passed, she was good, and then she found out right at the end that she actually did have gestational diabetes. So there's a lot of misdiagnosis. It's definitely not an extremely accurate test at all. It has been found to only be about 76% accurate, and they do say that it is a screening test, not a diagnostic test. So they can screen you for gestational diabetes, but they can't diagnose you with it from the test alone. I have a website that I did a lot of my research on, and I think that they had a lot of really good points. I also looked at some forums and some blogs and stuff, but mostly the website was really, really informative. I will link that down below. It will actually be the first link for you. So if you want to go and read this for yourself, go ahead, but I'm going to read a quote that I got straight off of that website. So this says 24% of women who test positive for gestational diabetes don't actually have it. So unless they insist on confirming with the oral glucose tolerance test, they will be labeled as high risk for no reason and may be subject to unnecessary interventions and medical procedures. I will link that down below. Also, another problem with the test is that you could fail a test in week 28 that you would have passed had you have taken it in week 24. That is because blood glucose values rise as pregnancy advances, but no adjustment is made for that. So basically, your levels are constantly going up and down depending on which week you take it. You could take it on Monday of week 24 and then take it on Thursday of week 24 and get completely different results. It depends on if you take it during week 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. It all varies so much, and they don't do any kind of adjustment for how far along you are. It's just the same test. So there's that. Like I'm saying, I just found that through my own research, I was just finding that the test didn't really seem very accurate. So why have it done? Some reasons that I personally was feeling like I didn't really want to do the test, which started me into all of the research, was that I wasn't really having any symptoms of gestational diabetes. Usually your baby will be measuring big. Mine was measuring right on track, exactly within like a day of her due date. She was right on track, right on the perfect size. So I didn't feel like it would really change very much for me, even if I was positive for gestational diabetes. I have a super huge phobia of needles, and I felt like the likelihood of me pricking my finger every day was pretty low. It's already kind of hard to remember to like take your prenatals and do all the other things that you're supposed to do during pregnancy, that I felt like pricking my finger, probably I just wouldn't really remember to do it very often anyway, just being honest with myself. I felt like I would rather just watch my diet, watch what I'm eating, and try to eat healthier things and make healthy substitutions than actually be diagnosed with gestational BDs. I would rather not know and just have a healthy lifestyle and make healthier choices and limit my sugar than have to be super strict and monitoring and keeping record and pricking my finger and checking my levels. And I just didn't feel like I would really be following through with that very much, just being honest. So that was another reason that I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I don't really want to do this, because how much is it really going to change my life if I am positive? Not all that much. So that was just something for me personally. Now let's go ahead and talk about some alternatives. So I called my doctor's office and I told them that I wasn't really wanting to do the test. They said that there are other ways that you can do the test. They can do just a simple finger poke, and that can monitor you for it. You can also do the jelly bean test. So instead of drinking the glucose drink, they give you, I think it's like 26 or some very random specific number of jelly beans that's supposed to be like the same amount of sugar, so that you know like the ingredients and stuff going into your body. Again, do your own research if you are interested in hearing about all of the other alternative tests and stuff that you can take. But what my doctor's office did personally for me, I had my appointment as early in the day as possible, so it was at 8:30 that morning. I went in fasting and they drew my blood, and then they sent me to go eat a protein-only breakfast. So I had some sausage patties and an omelet, and it was gross, not gonna lie. You don't think about how nasty it is to eat only protein until you're in the moment and you can't have any kind of sauce or any kind of condiments, or when you're sitting there and you're looking at the toast and you're looking at the juice, you're like, oh man, that looks really good, but you can't. It was rough. So I ate a protein-only breakfast, and then I went back to my doctor's office 2 hours later, and they drew my blood again. And they called me within probably 5 or 10 minutes after they drew my blood for the second time. They compared the two, and they said that I had passed the test and I was negative for gestational diabetes. So that was what my doctor's office did for me. You'll have to check with yours if you are looking for alternatives. But yeah, overall, I'm glad that I got tested, because I do have that peace of mind now, knowing that I don't need to worry so much about my levels. Of course, everything in moderation, and it's still important to be healthy when you're pregnant and to be eating the healthiest things that you can be, etc., etc. But it's nice to know that I can enjoy a cookie every once in a while if I want to, so I can have the occasional ice cream if I am feeling like I want to. So I definitely do recommend getting tested. Again, it's very important. This video is not to convince you to not get tested. I think that it is a good thing to know one way or the other, but this is just some of the research that I did and why I chose not to go with the traditional glucose test that they do at the doctor's office. So I hope that this was somewhat informative. I hope that this was somewhat helpful for you. Again, I will link the website that I mentioned down below. I found a lot of my facts and a lot of my information through them, and that was kind of what set me on the track that I got on with this. So I definitely recommend going and checking out that website. They also share the flip side of everything I've been talking about. So they do talk about like the importance of it and all that kind of stuff. So they're not going to just be telling you like this test is inaccurate. They will actually share with you like the pros of getting it done as well. So definitely go and check that out. And I think that is about it. So if you are new to my channel and you have not seen any of my other mommy or pregnancy related videos, I will go ahead and link them down below. All of my pregnancy updates and all of my baby hauls and all that kind of stuff will be down there for you. So go check those out. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.